perception data and use that data and build decision-making systems on top of it to be able to reason and make decisions that mimic human behavior in certain ways. I would call that AI. But what are the main building blocks of AI? So one of the main building blocks of AI is machine learning. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard of the term machine learning as well. So machine learning is a framework or a lot of mathematical forms and so forth that you use to take data and build statistical models to do predictions on many different data sets, to do certain kind of automation. So that is the core of AI. So it's all math, in particularly linear algebra, probability, and statistics, and programming on top of it. And these days, on top of machine learning, you probably have heard the term deep learning being quite famous, right? So deep learning is one type of machine learning algorithms. So among a lot of machine learning algorithms, such as decision trees, support vector machines, and whatnot, one of them is called neural nets, which was quite popular in the late 90s and then sort of died away for a while, and then again became quite popular in 2007 with a paper from one of the professors from Canada. And now, deep learning, the neural network system with enough data and enough GPU power is able to beat most of the automated systems out there in the world. And that's why deep learning is so popular. But deep learning is just one type of machine learning algorithms, while machine learning algorithm is the fundamentals of AI. And within the machine learning, because the machine learning algorithm is the fundamentals, I'm just going to take a minute to talk about what are the main types of machine learning algorithms you should be thinking about. These are the three core types of machine learning algorithms, which are supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Supervised learning basically means if you do have a lot of data and you also know how a human will behave on that data. So for example, if you have a video of a driver driving a car and you also know that with certain restrictions on the road, somebody will take a right or take a left, then that's a training data that you can use to have a machine use pattern recognition to come up with correlations to build a model to do predictions. So that's supervised learning. Unsupervised learning is when you don't have that kind of labeled data. And reinforcement learning is there's a lot of data out there that is not labeled. And especially in many situations, if you don't have a labeled data but a lot of unlabeled data, then you probably want to use reinforcement learning where the system actually makes decisions on an environment, and based on that environment, it learns from the decision it made. So तपाईहरु कतिले सुन्नुभयो होला AlphaGo, आजकल गुगलको कति सिस्टमहरु जुन गेमले एक अर्कोसँग खेल्दै इम्प्रुभ हुँदै जान्छ, त्यो चाहिँ सबै reinforcement learning system. But today the main conversation is about AI for all. So US, Europe, kati desharuma, there's a lot going on with a lot of things happening on the research on AI. But the question is, how can we democratize AI for developing countries? Right? That's one of the themes and main questions. And I would say these are the four key things that we need to solve if we want to create AI for all. So first is education. जति सक्छ त्यति नै धेरै इन्जिनियर्सलाई we need to train in AI. त्यसपछि we need to provide them tools. अनि we need to create infrastructure for the people who have been trained on AI and who have tools to be able to build systems. Infrastructure यहाँ भन्नाले not necessarily infrastructure as roads and bridges. This is infrastructure on data and compute power. And त्यसपछि if you have all of that, you can solve a lot of developing country problems. So I'm going to go through each of these four core things that I think is necessary for creating AI for all opportunity, and then I'm going to end the talk. So, पहिला education. So, तपाईहरु कतिले articles-हरु देख्नुभयो होला आजकल especially US, Europe, some of the AI engineers get paid $250,000, $750,000 or $1 to $2 million per year. Kiन त? There's a lack of talent on AI, particularly because it requires quite a lot of experience in math and so forth. It takes many years to build some of these AI technical skills. Some of the reports say there's only about 300 really hardcore AI engineers that's available in the world, while we need millions of them. Particularly developing countries like Nepal, we need a lot of engineers. So first thing to do, if we want to democratize AI, is to focus on how to enable more engineers, more students, more engineers, more non-engineers as well, to get better education on AI. And it does not necessarily have to be in-class, traditional way of teaching. It could be online classes and so forth. So I think that's the core focus. And one of the things at Fuse Machines we have done, partnering with some of the universities, is creating these fellowship programs where the students in Nepal actually can apply for these fellowship programs and get Columbia MicroMasters. So from Fuse Machines, we've been doing this, and we have trained more than 50 engineers from Nepal and around the world where they get Columbia MicroMasters. So first focus should be on educating as many people as possible in AI. And the second thing is tools. So education part of the education is being able to use the tools and provide these tools. So there are a lot of tools out there, and developing country engineers, like, they might not know about all the tools available, especially if it's a tool that just came out. We need to give as much exposure to as many latest tools available, from tools from Google to Microsoft and so forth. And with the given tools and with the given right set of education, a lot of people will be exposed to machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, computer vision, and many of these different techniques. Particularly, educate Garda, I'd say one thing that will come out, especially with tools, is different problems require different sets of solutions and different kinds of algorithms. To कसरी right mix ल्याउने भनेर दुईटै गरिसकेपछि बढी बुझिन्छ, which will enable a lot of people to solve problems with the right kind of technique, with the right kind of algorithm, and with the right kind of data. And the last one is infrastructure. And this is not infrastructure as in electricity, road, and whatnot. This is infrastructure related to data. So one of the most important things for any AI systems that you want to build is data. Kasari data can be collected, organized, and used for building models to do predictions. This is particularly a challenge in developing countries, even in developed world. So I've helped some of the banks in the US and so forth to apply AI systems in their organizations. And one of the first challenges they run into is, how do we take disparate source of data and put together so that you can build a unified model? But developing countries, the problem is even further, where first is the data collection many problems. So how do we collect these data sets and create systems to collect as much data as possible across many different organizations is one of the key pieces of infrastructure. We need as much possible as compute power. And one of the key things that we need to address, even in developing countries, is, let's say we build an AI system. AI assistant system build Goro, and one of the things that a lot of people fear is the replacement of low-skilled jobs using AI systems, right? So how do we address that? So one of the things we could do is, instead of thinking about AI assistant system replacing the jobs, how do we mix AI system with a human system, like human process, so that actually human is more enabled to do their job instead of them being replaced. So you particularly Hamle, New York government, like we saw a live example where call center automation, when we deployed for New York City government, we saw that if we use humans in conjunction with AI systems, it produced really good results. And last, of course, is all the regulations that need to be addressed in today's world based on data privacy and whatnot. To stop there's a lot of opportunities, right? Medical imaging. There are not enough doctors in Nepal. Medical imaging systems, automated systems could be used to automatically diagnose various things. Predicting personalized insurance premiums. And this is happening more in the developed world, but if we collect more data from roads and cars, then we could do, for example, personalized travel insurances. How to do demand prediction, route optimizations and whatnot, and tax refund optimization. So there's a lot of things you could do if you are able to collect data, provide the right kind of infrastructure. And the last one is, if we are able to figure out each step, educate as many people as possible, provide the right tools, and are able to provide the right infrastructure, particularly data infrastructure, then there will be a lot of opportunities locally that could be done. And these are some of the things that we've been doing as Fuse Machines as a company, and there are a lot of things I do with some of the students as well. And so some of the things that I would like to mention here that are the highlights is being able to deliver a drone with medicine. Right? We were one of the first ones to make a flight with medicine in a box where a drone would pick it up and then go and then drop it. The second version of this is actually the drone would come lower to the ground, scan the face, and drop the medicine only if it recognizes the face. The face recognition technology is at a point where you can do this. So you can imagine, when you need to drop medicine, you have to walk probably 5 ghanta, but drone could fly in 20 minutes and deliver the medicine. We've been building Nepali automatic speech recognition. So there's a speech recognition systems for many languages. Nepali Google Android phone, can we build a robust Nepali speech recognition system that could be used by many organizations, from government to telecom operators to banks here. So for that, we've been building Nepali speech recognition system that could allow even blind people in villages to be able to do phone banking just with speech, right, without having to hear it. We could improve probably traffic with object detection and traffic. And one of the last things we've been doing is digitizing handwritten forms. Especially in Nepal, a lot of things get written on forms, particularly paper forms. We start with paper forms like one of the first things we need to do is collect data, right? Digital data. How do we collect data? And one of the ways to improve the process is to collect data, is to actually build another machine learning system to automatically transcribe these forms in a digital form. So these are the 4 things that I believe are crucial in being able to democratize AI and to bring AI for all, particularly in developing countries. That was my